how does integrated learning happens? Or if I remove the word integrated, let me say how does learning happens. And one of the ways it happens is just the way we all make friends. So the important thing, as you realize, is not just we don't have to meet the person in the same way every time. We don't have to meet them every time in a textbook or in a like a sum at the end of the book. But if we meet the same concept, whether it's history, whether it's geography, whether it's weather, whether it's anything, the more we get to know, or rather not even get to know, I would say the more we meet, the more we interact, the more we warm up, as Anuj is mentioning, in many different contexts, and many, we make friends with that learning, or anything. In fact, that's how we like learning, and we learn very naturally. If you go back to no matter who teaches me, whether it's a TV or a YouTube or a parent or a teacher or a nature or anything, unless I start making sense of it, I start connecting it, I start putting it together, like one brick over the other brick. Children learn, right? How do they construct? Well, they construct in a very simple way, and that's the only way we all learn. I'm making a huge dramatic statement, but it's not very dramatic. If you read every bit of brain research, you realize that the only way we learn is by making connections in the human being, and that is what is lovely. And she was one big observer of children. She realized how the spontaneous energy is something I need to just be there with and understand. Then I can see what I can do. She came up with so many ideas. I'm sure she came up because she observed the whole process. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's say the child wants to do something, right? Say whatever the child wants to do. Let's say the child wants to do a painting. Child comes and says, I want to draw, or rather I want to paint something. Here I've got my colors, I've got my brushes, I want to paint. And let's say you say, okay, fine, good, awesome, whatever you say, right? My question is, why is this child doing this activity? So the goal of painting is not the learning. The learning is the act of painting. Yeah? So that's what activation is all about. And if you can understand this process of how activation is what is really, really the learning, not the result, whatever the painting or whatever you are doing, then we can really, first of all, enjoy what the child is doing or what I am doing, and see what all is embedded in there, like the story that we started off with. And I like that he has added this line, and the doing is of such a nature as to demand thinking, because otherwise as teachers and parents we keep giving them homework, classwork, this, that. That's not doing. The doing is something which gets them activated in times of what they are learning, because I realize that there are so many intelligences in each one of us. You know that, I know that. We have so many colors inside us, these intelligences, these multiple intelligences. And if I can somehow, relate to these 8 intelligences and invite the child to do the same, then I can multiply the learning 8 times. Right? So the last week, one of our Arohi children, I think he's about 4 or 5, I'm not remembering his age, but somewhere around 4, 5, 6, he drew this little let's call it, he calls it Zentangle art. But the thing is, if you start looking at it from, let's say, body perspective, you start thinking, whose body is like that? What if my body was like that? How will this creature move if it's a creature? Why this kind of, a shape with this? Is it an agile creature? Is it a slow creature? What kind of creature is this? If you start thinking it from a logic perspective, you start thinking, what kind of symmetry does it have? Is that symmetry importance? Is the balance is proper there? Is the forces going to work properly? And so on. Start thinking of music. Oh my goodness, there's so much music flowing here. I can start thinking of songs which will go with it, or maybe this is already a part of a song, or if there was a song video, how these little patterns will kind of travel within it. Then you think of nature and you start thinking, where do I look at these patterns? Do trees barks have these patterns, or elephant skin has these patterns? Where do I these little patterns, or these creepers crawling all over the ground, are these patterns? Then I start thinking of people and I'll say, what will different people think of these objects? Like if I ask you, what do you think it is? When I first thought of it, I saw this is two spirally eyed monster. That's what I thought. I don't know, what are you thinking about? Different people will look at it in so many different ways. In fact, this could be a person. Will I make him a friend? Will I make him a pet? Will I make him a business colleague, a business partner? What will I make him, or her for that matter? I don't even know the gender. And then I start thinking of it in terms of myself, and I say, when my eyes go like this, when my hair goes all squirrely whirly, when my nose is running, you see the bit between the nose is running. I don't know, I'm starting relating it to myself, and when my thoughts are all wobbly gobbly. Yes, we can talk. I've been talking about it. The whole story is embedded in it. I'm sure we can start with a story right here. Somebody saying a brainy car, mouse, turtle, cart, and so on. And obviously the child made it so visually, although there's just one color, literally. I think one color which ran out of ink, so he took a slightly different color, but more or less a monochromatic visual. And why is it so appealing? Why is there so much visual energy in it? And somebody saying chow mask. So the moment you realize that one little thing, I can multiply it by 8 and enjoy it in 8 different ways. So I don't live 24 hours. I live 24 into 8. How much ever is that? Oh, that's about, what? That's so many more hours. How many hours? Many hours that is, you can calculate. I live that many hours because every moment I can enjoy in 8 different ways. And that is integrated learning, because I don't approach learning through only one way, through only one channel. I have so many channels. Yep. And that's what Howard Gardner said, that anything that is worth teaching can be presented in different ways. These multiple ways can make use of our multiple intelligences. Right, so let's kind of conclude this little session on integrated learning by saying, by thinking rather, I want to leave you with this thought that, do we need to live to learn? Literally, as children, if you ask child, what's your profession? They write student. I say, how horrible. To me, my profession, whether I'm a 5-year-old or a 1-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 20-year-old, is to live. That's my profession. And not just at 20, even now, my jump, fall, get up, run, hop, jump, fall, get up, and all that. That is what living and learning is all about. So that's my thought to you.